Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show how I did this Kingfisher drawing in pastels. Now this video is going to have lots of tips on how to capture vibrant colour saturation and how to replicate the shine in the feathers. But before I can work with any kind of detail, I need to first establish a good base foundation. One of my biggest tips when trying to capture this colour saturation is try not to work with a base layer that's too dark right away. With pastels, we do have the flexibility that we can layer light to dark and dark to light, but there does need to be some caution when working with vibrant colours, only because where they do blend very easily, those colours can end up losing their colour saturation, resulting in muddy layers, and it is something that can then be quite difficult to fix. And what I like to do in this scenario is try to establish more of what the colour should be or how I want that to be, and then I can focus on my details. Adding in details too soon here will complicate the colour selection process quite drastically, and the drawing process as a whole becomes very stressful. And then I want to be mapping in my values and gradually increasing the number of layers that I add rather than jumping into my brightest highlights too soon. This is something that I'm going to speak a lot about as I get to the body portion of the Kingfisher, but you can see here that I'm building up my lights and my darks. So not only have I been more cautious not to start with a very dark base, but I'm also then not jumping into my brightest pencils too soon. It's very important to capture your midtones for any portrait, but especially something where you've got this shine, because if I jump into my highlights, which is going to help the shine, but I don't have my midtones, then those highlights are going to look far too harsh. So it's very important here that we get that balance right. Another aspect that's really important here is how long my pencil strokes should be. There's no set rule, this is very individual to each reference photo, and even from one area of the drawing to the next. This small section of blue feathers, for example, here the feathers are much shorter than that on the wing, so I do need to make sure that I have a variation. Variation is crucial, not only in the colours here that I'm using, my values, the length of my pencil strokes, the direction of those pencil strokes, everything here is done with a purpose of enhancing the depth. So if I start to get a bit lazy with my pencil technique and the pencil strokes end up too long, then not only is the Kingfisher going to start to look fluffy, but I'm losing that definition in my base foundation. I want to be making sure that when I'm adding my pencil details, that they have a purpose, and when working on a smaller sized drawing in particular, that I don't get too carried away. The base foundation is such a crucial stage. It is something here where I would much rather get that as accurate as I can do before I consider my details, because of how much of an impact it can have in that end level of realism that is achieved. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the contrast is going to add a huge amount of shape and form. So if I've got an area of the reference photo that is very bright, then I will always start with a layer of white pastel pencil first. This ensures I've got my highlight as bright as it needs to be, and I can always tone it down later. Having this area of highlight that is far more reflective on the beak is going to help add a lot of dimension impact to this drawing. So whenever I've got a bright highlight, even if it is just a tiny little pinpoint highlight in the eye, I do like to try to capture that wherever possible. When it came to working on the body of the Kingfisher, I am going to be using all of the same steps that I've previously mentioned. So I'm working with more of a cautious approach, and I am building in some of that initial colour vibrancy, that beautiful saturation. However, this is going to be more enhanced as I work more on the wing. The blue on the wing was more saturated, punchy in that colour. So I want to make sure that I've adjusted my pencil layering approach and I'm using a slightly different combination. It might be the same pencils, but in a different order in the way that I layer those colours from start to finish. This is something that I do cover thoroughly in the real-time version of this tutorial, and because in those lessons I'm recording a voiceover while I'm drawing, I'm able to explain everything in the moment. From picking the colours in terms of where it sits on the colour wheel, how I should be holding the pencil, the pressure, how I'm going to be building up my layers, everything is covered thoroughly. If they are of interest, I'll link the information to those in the description below. Now, as I start, when working on an area that is particularly vibrant, you'll notice that I'm not jumping straight in with the black pastel pencil. This is a very common mistake. When working with a darker value, it's normal to just immediately think of using the darkest pencil that we have. But then not only do all of the shadows end up looking the same, but in this situation we will lose the vibrancy and the colours, the layers will become very muddy. So that is something that I do try to avoid, and I like to use those darker pencils for my later layers where needed. So at this stage I've got my base foundation and the colour in place. Now I'm going to start to make more sense of those tiny intricate feathers within this area of the wing. This is one section of the reference photo that was quite overwhelming with how many tiny little details there were. So you'll see that I've actually worked on smaller sections here rather than the entire body. This is my personal preference. I do find working in small areas does help to simplify the process. If I'm working with more individual solid layers, so I do the entire base foundation for all of the bird, then I work with my first layer of detail and so on, I personally get very flustered with that layering process. I end up cutting corners and the layers that I am putting in start to become rushed. So to avoid that, I do like to work in maybe 1 or 2 square inches at a time. As I'm starting to add more definition here, this part of the body is starting to look more realistic, but I'm not adding too many details. And again, this is something that I can't stress enough. I want to have those beautiful blues of my base foundation still showing, to have that colour saturation established throughout the entire portrait. When working with building in some highlights, this is where I'm now of course using my white pastel pencils to get more of the shine. We can adjust how we use the pencils to give us more variation with the colours or the values that they create. Now what I mean by that is when I am using this white pencil, I could use excessive pressure and get these highlights as bright as I can possibly get. However, if I adjust that pressure as I work with more of my layers, I can create a range of lighter values with one pencil. And the pressure that I use on my pencils is something that I do cover thoroughly in my real-time versions because it can add a huge amount of depth and realism to a pastel drawing. And the other thing that it allows is a unique level of softness. So you'll see from all areas in this drawing, I haven't once used a blending tool. I've done all of this with my pastel pencils. I love this effect, but again, the pressure on the pencil is very important. Now that I've got most of the Kingfisher's body put in here, the highlights are making a very big difference. But if I was using my brightest white pencil that I had and the highlights still looked dull, not as bright as I would like, then that tells me that potentially my darker values next to those highlights aren't dark enough. As soon as I darken those up, it will immediately make the highlights appear brighter. So as I'm starting to use that lighter blue, it will help to make that darker shadow next to it appear darker because my values are being adjusted. So this is something that we should be considering, and it's always worthwhile from time to time, zoom out of your reference photo, have a look at a distance, how dark or light should that area be compared to something else in your drawing. Because it is very easy to think, okay, shadow, therefore I'm going to use black, and then maybe that shadow is as dark as the eye, where the reference photo might show that the eye is drastically darker than that shadow you were working on. So by working with the variation here, this is how we can help to get a bit more of the curve of the body, the shaping of the head, by making sure that we've got a variety of shadows, midtones, and highlights. So I don't want to cover too much of this branch in this video because I plan on creating another video for YouTube that focuses just on building in this mossy texture. But what I will say here is my layering approach is different because the areas of the branch weren't colour saturated as such. There was a few lighter greens that I wanted to establish that I did put in earlier on. But for the most part, I can work with a bit more of a flexible layering approach. When building in the texture, the same concept applies, that I'm going to be working with many layers, a gradual process, and I want to refine that detail in stages. Rather than jumping into the harsher detail early on, that is going to significantly limit the depth here. And I also don't want this area of the branch to be distracting. This branch was an important part of my drawing, but I certainly didn't want there to be highlights everywhere that didn't really make sense and then maybe pull focus away from the Kingfisher. So the balance, the variation is just as important. But what is also important are the details that overlap the background. And it doesn't matter if that's fur, feathers, little bits of moss, tiny branches or twigs. If they're part of that drawing, they do need to be given the right amount of time. The variation here, the difference in the length, the direction, the thickness, it's going to help to pull this away from the background, make it look more realistic, but I don't want to then get lazy with this because it's the last few minutes of the drawing and then I end up with this looking like hair. There needs to be an adjustment in the pencil technique to get that texture right, which again, all of this is covered in the real-time version of this tutorial. This is a very tricky texture to get right, but you can see that I've built up that detail. I've worked with my base foundation and then considered the texture that I can see. And not every single pencil stroke here has to be exact. There is a lot going on, so if I put a pencil stroke a few millimeters to the left or the right, it really doesn't matter as long as I've got my values correct. So I do hope this video has been useful. If it was, I'd be very grateful if you could give it a like and a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference to my channel. I do also upload a couple of videos to YouTube every week, so if you would like to get notified of that content, then don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell button. If you do have any art related questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm always happy to help if I can. And if you would like to draw along to the real-time version of this Kingfisher tutorial, I will link all of the information to that in the description below. I'm going to be uploading another video next week, but as always, thank you so much for watching.